All right, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. Do us a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications, upvote, comment, all of that stuff. Join our Subtext community. Now, I don't get information insider a lot. I live in Central Florida. I don't think I've hidden that from anybody. But when I do, the Subtext community gets it first. And sometimes people reach out for me and they give predictions and what's going on. And especially in the age of the transfer portal, it's honestly important to listen to that, but the hit rate might not be that good. For instance, we'll say that a whole bunch of people all of a sudden, like the Andy Taylor kid from Marshall, I saw a done deal post for a week on that one. And it didn't make sense because there were people making it that didn't normally make posts like that. So I kind of paid attention to what was going on. Taylor ended up going to Mississippi State, so I was right to lay off on that. But the point is, in the age of the transfer portal, the hit rate is not good from these college players going to other places. Whenever they go through their high school recruitment, it's just a different animal than when they go through this transfer portal recruitment. And I'm not judging anybody that has said anything about this and about anyone, because it's hard, it's difficult, and you don't really have the staff and infrastructure put into place that you have for high school recruiting. So it's going to be difficult. That's one of the reasons people are railing so much about the transfer portal, because it's hard. It requires more work. You just added a ton to their plate. It kind of is what it is. Now, I say all that to say this. One of the players that I started to hear rumblings about a couple of days ago, now nothing concrete and nobody was willing to say that this was a done deal or anything like that, was Musa Sise out of Oklahoma State. He's a former 5-star signee with the University of Memphis. But Sise went to Oklahoma State and is now going to transfer to be back closer to home because I think he's a Lausanne high school. If I butchered the name of that pronunciation, I apologize. But Lausanne and Memphis, so he's coming back closer to home. Cisse is a 7'1" center. If you take him and Jamarian Sharp, Ole Miss has two players over 7 foot, which is a rarity for Ole Miss basketball. Now, I say all that to say this. There's a big situation coming up. There's two things that we need to talk about that are nuggets that are about to come up in the next two tweets that I need to talk about. First of all, this is from Jeff Goodman, who often breaks stuff about Ole Miss basketball. Ole Miss lands Oklahoma State transfer Moussa Cisse. Cisse and Jamarian Sharp together up front will be interesting. Now the question, whether the NCAA give these multiple-time underground transfers waivers. Chris Beard has Brandy Murray and Cisse who will try to get waivers. That's an interesting situation. I don't like that meters, whenever Ole Miss does something, Ole Miss somehow becomes the test case for all this. So they're trying to draw a line in the sand with Ole Miss needing waivers. They need to worry about waivers to other schools because the NCAA shouldn't do anything about that, honestly. We'll see exactly what happens with him going to Ole Miss at the moment. Now, if we talk about Jeff Borzello, he is an ESPN insider. Ole Miss has now landed arguably the best interior defenders in the portal in Musa Cisse and Jamarian Sharp. The Rebels are a point guard away from cementing a preseason top 25 spot. And that was off the quote tweet announcing that Cisse is going to Ole Miss. Now, I say all that to say this. Ole Miss basketball is in a unique position. I do think they need a point guard, and I do think they're still working and trying to recruit one. Now, Nunez came in. He is a point guard. He fills that role as well. They also have a TJ Caldwell that has a lot of experience playing that position, but he's more of a combo guard kind of to begin with. I think there's a player out of Utah Valley that Ole Miss is recruiting that kind of fits that point guard realm. We'll see exactly what happens as well. But Ole Miss as a team has a chance to be a preseason top 25 team after what we just saw. That is called the Chris Beard effect. That is called everything that we've been interested in happening. Everything that we've talked about. Ole Miss is essentially one type player from getting into that conversation. Now, we're not talking about top 10 Ole Miss, but we're talking about competitive Ole Miss. We're talking about NCAA tournament Ole Miss. And that is a big step for men's basketball. Chris Beard is doing a heck of a job, and it'll be interesting to see exactly how he does. Now, we're pretty fired up, and we will continue following that and seeing if Ole Miss can find that point guard, because this basketball construction is kind of becoming interesting. Ole Miss is already at the point with the transfers they brought in. There's 8 players, right? That's about the rotation of a lower level team, right? You like to go 10, but 8 is kind of where it kind of ends up at the end of the year. Ole Miss is about at 72 points per game in those 8 players coming into Ole Miss. There are many games that happened last year where Ole Miss was in the high 50s, low 60s. Chris Beard is helping the offense. That is the point there. All right, as you saw today, we've been testing out a new shot that we're working for football season. We're checking to see if my system can do it. If there's a problem, I apologize for it. We'll keep our eyes open for transfers as Ole Miss moves forward. Basketball-wise, we'll keep working on the offseason interviews that we have been trying to get. And we will keep talking about football and drilling down on areas that Ole Miss needs to improve in to get to the level that we all want Ole Miss football to get to. And before I get out of here, I do want to say this as well. I need to bring up Twitter real quick. So just bear with me, because I do want to talk about this. And on May 27th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Jared Ivey will be having the Jared Ivey Elite Skills Camp in Gwinnett High School and North Gwinnett High School in Georgia. If you are interested in doing that, do that. Good people. Miss Tracy she's a fantastic friend of the program. But we have it scheduled to where Jared should be on the show in the next couple of days, and he is going to be talking about that Elite Skills Camp. So if you have somebody of age and you're looking for a football camp in Georgia with Ole Miss ties, because there are Georgia people all over the place, North Gwinnett, Jared Ivey will have an Elite Skills Camp, and it's an opportunity for somebody that is a high-level Division I FBS athlete to be something for your kids. You know, he can build them up. He can do whatever he needs to do. He can talk about the nuts and bolts of the position. But the Jared Ivey Elite Skills Camp is May 27th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at North Gwinnett High School. Like I said, when we talk to Jared, we will also kind of figure out some of the nuts and bolts and all this. But this will be a good avenue for Ole Miss fans that are looking for a way to connect to their program. Honestly, really cool that Jared's getting to do this. So support him. Jared Ivey Elite Skills Camp, May 27th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at North Gwinnett High School. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Anyway, thank you so much for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. Every day is tomorrow on the show. We're going to keep drilling down on football. We're trying to get to where we want to get. And that is going to require us to drill down and kind of figure out what the root problems are happening. As we did today, Jackson Dart does not have many holes in his game. If you look at the chart, not many there. There's still a couple of places that he needs to work on, but we'll see exactly what happens there. Anyway, thanks a lot, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Hotty toddy.